Atlantis touchdown, and that was the end of the shuttle program. They're all in museums right now. A lot of people thought that's the end of NASA, but we still have the space station going on. We've got 6 astronauts living up there right now. It's a huge complex. Have you guys ever seen it? It passed over Huntsville last night about 9 o'clock. I think it's got a pass tonight as well. You can Google it, ISS sightings, and check online. Maybe can we check for them and see if there's some opportunities. Go out and see this thing passing overhead like looks like a moving star.
If you go to NASA's website, they have Spot the Station, and they'll actually text your phone or email you based on your location, where to go, where to look at the sky, and how long to be visible.
Maybe you could share that with everybody. It's pretty cool to go out there and see it. I still like seeing it. I went out last night, to see it. But it's a huge complex, about the size of a football field. We've got these 6 astronauts up there right now. They'll spend about 6 months up there. We've got 3 Russians, 2 Americans here, and then an Italian astronaut. We've also got commercial companies now who are working on rockets and spacecraft to send our astronauts up and down. Right now, to go up to the space station, we pay the Russians $65 million a seat to send our astronauts up and down. So we've got companies. One is called SpaceX out in California. They're developing a new capsule called the Dragon. It'll hold 6 or 7 astronauts here. And they tested out a couple of these in an unmanned cargo version. The last one was just March of this year. So they got the capsule there. They have a new rocket, the Falcon 9. And they came up to the space station. The astronauts have a robotic arm where they go out and grab it. They bring it in and dock it to the space station. Then they can transfer a couple of tons of supplies there and put things back in it to come back to Earth, and it'll parachute down. I think this one landed off the coast of San Diego. So you're going to see commercial companies doing this, and NASA will pay them kind of like a taxi fee, get our astronauts up and down, back and forth in cargo vehicles. NASA's also developing another capsule called the Multi-Purpose Crew Vehicle. It's not a great name, it's kind of a clunky name, but they'll come up with something slicker in the future. A capsule for 6 or 7 people, solar panels for generating electricity, little communication antenna. It'll have an engine on the back. We'll be using these for other missions in the future. And right now, going on here at the Marshall Space Flight Center, they're developing a new series of rockets called the Space Launch System, SLS. And there's 2 versions that they're working on. One is the manned human version. So we'll have a capsule here, and the rocket will take the astronauts up to orbit. And then there's a much larger cargo version, that'll take the payloads up to space. This version is 384 feet tall. So it's taller than the Saturn V rocket that's standing out there, maybe 20 feet taller. It'll be a huge rocket, the largest ever built. And with these 2, we'll be able to do a lot of incredible missions here. You see here these solid rocket boosters. They're trying to use a lot of the same technology we had in the shuttle program. So these are just longer versions of those side rockets. We'll use similar engines to the shuttle main engines, and this will be kind of like a big fuel tank like we use on the space shuttle as well. Those are just 2 artist drawings. We'll start launching these, I think, around 2017 or so. So it's a few years away, but they're working on the designs. The engineering of it is going on right now here at the Marshall Space Flight Center. And where are we going with these? It's still a little unclear what NASA's plans are. But some of the destinations, maybe go back to the moon, onto asteroids, or onto Mars there. There's always discussion about the moon. Should we go back to the moon? We've been there already. Or let's go to the moon, learn how to build a base there, learn to live independent of Earth. And once we're ready for that, that's a good time to head out to Mars then. So the discussion always shifts back and forth, what we should do with that. There's some missions they're talking about going to the asteroids. And there's a new one called the Asteroid Redirect Initiative. Earlier this year, I don't know, it was February or March, a huge meteor came in over Russia and created a sonic boom, broke a lot of windows. That's an asteroid or some piece of debris from space coming in. And these things hit the Earth every now and then, wiped out the dinosaurs 65 million years ago. And if one of these huge objects was coming in towards Earth, right now we couldn't do much about it. So NASA's looking at a program where they can develop a spacecraft, maybe with this big inflatable, almost like a catcher's mitt, that would go up and grab the asteroid. And then there's rocket engines there that could fire to nudge it out of the way. And you just have to change its orbit a little bit to have it miss the Earth. The farther out it is, the less of a nudge you can get it to miss the Earth. But they're working on this kind of program. Maybe we send an astronaut out to an asteroid too to do some mining operations, sampling of them. It would be about a 6-month round trip using some of those multi-purpose crew vehicles that you see there. This is just an artist drawing of a mission to Mars. You know, this is to the moon, one of the 2 moons of Mars. It would be so incredible to be that astronaut, look over your shoulder and see Mars in the background. And about 30 to 40 years from now, depending on budgets and everything else, we hope to send astronauts to the surface of Mars. And that's just an artist drawing of that day. First 2 humans to set foot on Mars. These people could be in your classrooms, you know, in September. It's that generation. I always tell them, I'm too old to go to Mars. Tell them their parents are too old to go to Mars, and I'm sorry to report that their teachers are also too old to go to Mars. But our generation in your classrooms right now, this is the generation that could grow up and do these incredible missions in the future, which is why what you guys are doing is so vitally important. Getting the kids interested and ready in math and science, you know, all the STEM subjects there. So we need you guys so much so we can do these future missions. Any more questions here?